Welcome to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers, newbies, and veterans, and everyone in between. We're hosted by M.A. Lee with the assistance of Remy Black and Edie Rooms, all from Writers Inc. Books. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Each episode lasts as long as it takes to fix a quick dinner, grab a short commute, or take a brisk walk. Resources and links are in the show notes. Visit us at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Now, on to this week's episode. Hi, and welcome to our first check-in for this summer's writing challenge, tracking not only words, but also other tasks that a writer needs to do to pursue success. We began tracking on June 1st, and will continue to July 31. As part of my master plan, I have 3 projects. First, converting the audio files for the completed Defeat Writer's Block series into a manuscript. This project will result in an audiobook, an ebook, and a paperback. Project 2 is massive and includes writing 5 short stories, creating audio files for 15 short stories, and publishing the 5-story collection in ebook and paperback, and a 15-story bundle in ebook, paperback, and audiobook format. Project 3 sounds simple, but it's constant and persistent and can slip past you. It's to maintain all the other miscellaneous tasks, including these podcast episodes, without falling behind. Let's start with accomplishments for check-in number 1 as of June 4. I've been focusing on Project 1, the Defeat Writer's Block series. In 4 days, I'm 11 chapters into the transcript of Defeat Writer's Block with 26,746 words. I developed the manuscript format and have the front and back matter done. What's front matter? Title page, rights page with disclaimers and permissions, and the start of the table of contents. The back matter is a thank you page which contains a request for a review, a page, actually several pages, of me, M.A. Lee's nonfiction writing books, and a link to the podcast website. The rest of those 26,000 plus words is chapters 1 to 11. I have an audio check of those 11 chapters, matching the manuscript to audio files. The audio check will also count as the first proof. The work process for each chapter has 3 tasks. Draft of the rough form that I used to create the audio file, formatting, and the audio check, which will count as first proof. I'm farther than anticipated in those 4 days. First, because chapter 1 to 4 sliced out of the book Think Like a Pro, with some revised text to update the information. This enabled me to do 4 chapters in 1 day, not just 2. Second, because my brain works a certain way, and I wish it didn't, but it has difficulty multitasking when part of a project is complete, and I'm already multitasking with so many other things. I had hoped to start writing the first Wild Sherwood short story. After staring at a blank page for an entire session and producing little that was good, I guess that my brain thinks I need to spend my time on Defeat Writer's Block, all because the audio files are done, which is a major segment of it. Therefore, Saturday, June 1, instead of the first 1,500 words on the first short story, I turned 2 transcripts, chapter 5 and 6, of Defeat Writer's Block, into manuscript form. That work continued Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Is this a failure? No, I'm twice as far into the Defeat Writer's Block book, and I'm mulling over what I didn't like about the start of Dangerous Gold. While the brain continues to mull over Project 2, Project 1 will advance. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday have actually had 6 tasks per day, because I've managed 2 chapters per day, except for today. But today is the day for this podcast, and that entails prep and draft, recording and mastering, creating a card as the image for the YouTube video, posting to the website, and then uploading to Podbean, my podcast service that will send the podcast on to Apple and Samsung, Google and YouTube, iHeart and TuneIn, Amazon Alexa, and other distributors. All that takes time, usually 3+ hours. So in 4 days, I've generated quite a number of new words on the book, the words for this podcast. The book's 11 chapters are formatted and audio checked, and the bonus is that the first proof for these chapters is complete. I've completed the podcast for this first check-in. Coming next week, we'll lose a day to errands and bill paying and to my normal weekly commitments, although I might sneak in 500 words here and there, or maybe more, or less. We shall see. The next check-in will cover our next 7 days, Wednesday to Tuesday. Track your own achievements and stumbles and analyze problems and develop solutions. And keep striving for your own summer writing challenge. You can share your success or failures with us via email, winkbooks@aol.com, winkbooks@aol.com. What follows is a bit of inspirational musings from my book, Just Start Writing. Be a writer. 13 steps for dancing. The first 3. How do I start writing? That's the question a former student recently asked. He knew I had launched my writing business. Gone pro, you know. I spent my teaching years telling my students much more information than they ever wanted to know for our daily lessons. I did the same thing with him. Couldn't help myself. 13 steps in no particular order. My former student contacted me about his great book idea. He wanted guidance on how to start writing. I texted back several long texts. I've now expanded my answers to him for you all. Here we go. Step 1. Just start writing. Who do you want to write about? What story do you want to tell? Just launch into an event with that character. You don't have to start at the beginning or the end. Whatever is swirling, get it down. Once that scene is out, give a little thought to that character. People connect to characters that they like. Develop a likable protagonist, a real person with honor and humility, dreams and goals, a bit of crazy wildness, and a whole raft of kindness. Don't forget to give that protagonist angst that can be overcome. Step 2. Be certain of your peeps. The protagonist's allies need to be likable too, especially since we might kill a couple of them off during the course of the book. Kill them? Yes, we can kill people off. You don't have to do that, of course. You can do whatever you want with your characters and stories. You can do anything. Isn't that freeing? You are in charge of your own writing. You can break the rules or follow them. You can ignore people's advice and criticisms and critiques, or revise based on that advice and criticisms and critiques. It's your writing. You're in charge. I want to say that over and over. No one else can write the book in your head. You do it. Start at the end. Start in the middle. Second chapter on. Anywhere you want. Kill people off. Birth new ones. The only thing that matters is that your writing gradually forms a coherent story. Oops! How do I do that, you ask? Next step, please. Step 3. Use patterns and models. And when you use those patterns and models, start adjusting them to your story to create a unique twist. The foundations of character building and plot structure are the same and have been the same for thousands upon thousands of years. Every decade or so, new terminology comes out, but the essence remains constant. Patterns and models are called archetypes. These are worldwide patterns, which means your audience for this story will be worldwide. For plot, use the archetypal story pattern. The archetypal story pattern creates a roller coaster plot flow with suspense and tension built in. Check out Christopher Vogler's Writer's Journey, easily researched on the internet. That's an excellent resource for any beginning writer. Most of the new stuff about writing that has come out since Vogler's seminal book just builds on Vogler's source, Joseph Campbell, who built on Carl Jung. You can't go wrong with Jung. It's like the master teacher stuff, 4 versions that I endured during 3 decades of teaching. The same information was repackaged to look new and shiny, with lots of new jargon to make you think you're getting new, until you look closely and see all the similarities with a few minuscule differences. When I think of all those hours in meetings about the repackaged new old that was pushed, let's just say I could have taken several long vacations every 5 years or so. Most writers talk about beats, which is built on Freytag's pyramid, the artificial constraint on story. Others talk about using tropes. Without a strong theme, the tropes create a mishmash of scenes. Whatever you use to develop characters and plot, write your basic story. When that rough draft is complete, then consider tropes and check that your story is following the beats. You'll discover that the archetypes not only kept your story on track, but also moving from beginning to end, even through the dreaded middle. All through June and July, the Write Focus podcast turns its lens to the Summer Writing Challenge, 61 days of writing, as well as presenting all the other tasks in the writing business. In addition to tracking our progress on writing projects, we'll cover market copy, cover designers, promotional posts and newsletters, as well as audio projects. These are just a sample of the myriad additional tasks performed by every writer, indie or traditionally published. Posts covering the previous week's work will be recorded on Tuesday evenings and published on Wednesday mornings. Join us as we detail the accomplishments and failures for every writer's summer challenge. Thanks for listening to The Write Focus, a podcast for writers at all levels, hosted by Emma Lee from Writers Inc. Books, assisted by Renee Black and Edie Runes. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Music is licensed through Audio Jungle, called Background Music Loop. Its creator is Alexander Polishchuk, known on Audio Jungle as Plastic 3. The music comes in different iterations. Show notes and resource links for this and other episodes can be found at thewritefocus.blogspot.com. Write to us at winkbooks@aol.com when you have questions, comments, and speculations. We will try to answer you as quickly as possible. By the way, we will not mind your email address. That's rude. If you find value in our content, share with your writing friends or write a review. We're small beans here without the advertising budget of the big peeps, and you can make a difference. And whatever occurs, write on.